Welcome to round 5 action of NPLW Victoria. And we have a massive barnstorming clash for you this afternoon. South Melbourne taking on the high-flying Essendon Royals, who in their first season in the top flight arrived to Lakeside Stadium, eager to capture 3 much-needed points. As for South Melbourne, a Nike Cup loss to Heidelberg United will be fresh in the mind. As for the Royals, potentially snatching 3 points away from the home side would be key on the agenda for them as they seek to march up the table in this competition. For the away side, starting in goals, Mason Jones, Ristevski, Juricic, Marshall, Rampel, Smith, De Cruz, Grover, Amaya, Koizumi and Oesler. As for South Melbourne, Esposito gets her first start of the season. Claridge, Mikhailov, Papatsanis, Iamano, Stewards, Candelas, Hiranopoulos, Westland, Klajic and Taranto. And with the ball in the middle is Isabella Stewards, who will kick us off. The 1 goal for her this season. As we have kickoff here at South Melbourne. Ball played towards the left-hand side, looking for the option of Francesca Iamano. Of course, not taking the captain's armband. Mikhailov, the player in question. Towards that left-hand side, South looking to break free. On this left-hand channel now, that's with Kira Hiranopoulos. Well dealt with by the Essendon Royals, and so too in goal. Bethany Mason-Jones, the goalkeeper, is actually sporting, I think it looks like a number 7, but it is most definitely her, the former Box Hill United and Melbourne Victory goalkeeper. Took a 15-month break from football in 2020, and he's also played some for football at South Melbourne in her time. She gets it clear right towards Stewards. South looking to break forward here. Well dealt with by the defence of the Royals. Looking to receive into touch was Westland. Now the Royals will play down to this left-hand channel. Ava Grober looking to flick one inside, but to no one in particular it goes. A very sandy pitch, sandy surface at Lakeside Stadium, whilst making a trek across to the outer grandstand. It's very noticeable that the pitch is extremely hard and tough, and you can see those sand marks on the pitch at Lakeside. It's played upfield now. South looking to regain some possession and some much needed territory. Well won in midfield by the Royals. Koizumi. South imposing a press, but Smith is able to break away. Now South, this time through Candelas. Biding time on that right-hand channel. Turns away from a marker, looks to find it upfield, a lateral pass, but it's won back by the Royals. As they look back into their goalkeeper box with Mason Jones having to get it clear quickly. She does so. Stewards hooked towards that right-hand side. It's with Iamano on the edge of the area, looking to break inside. Past her marker, but it's well dealt with by Mary Rampel. And she'll get it up the line, but South can only see it out for a throw-in. Mary Rampel, of course, integral in the back-to-back promotions for the Royals. Of course, joined from State League 1 side Bundoora United several seasons ago. Also spent 4 seasons at Calder United, the NPLW powerhouses themselves. Westland. South regaining possession. The Royals now into the centre circle. Taranto stepping up high. Back with Westland. Good first touch away. We'll find options on that wing in the form of Georgia Candelas. Looks to break herself into the area, but it's well contended by the Royals' defence. More importantly, Daniela Marshall can aid in the pursuit of getting it clear. It's Taranto coming up high to receive. Looking to her right-hand channel. She drives away. Still Grace Taranto, still going. And Grace Taranto still there. And look at her roll it across. Nearly that time for South Melbourne. And the first corner of the afternoon will be taken from the city end. Isabella Sewards will look to take one, and she's actually going to retrieve a ball by herself. Or in fact, one of the marshals will get the ball here. Sewards with a cross. Of course, Daniel McAuliffe, knee-wise, married now to Justin McAuliffe most recently. That's why you've noticed a name change most recently. On Sports TG, still actually recognised by the last name in Danielle Wise, but she, of course, had her first start of the season last week against the Burgers in the Cup. Sewards back on just halfway. Nice little interplay with Taranto now towards that left-hand channel. South looking to break up field again, but it's well contended by Jurcic. Receiving it to touch. Overlapping run arriving from Georgia Candelas, but again having to clear away was Daniela Marshall, of course. Returned to the club in 2024 following an AFLW stint at the Western Bulldogs and Essendon. Of course, still playing a trade with an Essendon-based side, but she's switched the red and black for the red and white of the Essendon Royals. Grover finds Smith, turns away and looks to unleash down this left-hand wing. Audrey Osler cutting onto her right. Sort of a makeshift cross into the box, but it's well contended by Christina Esposito, of course. A very pivotal match for her as well this campaign. Started last week in that cup loss to the Burgers. Holds an administrative position at FV. Looping ball over the top from the Royals. They're looking to receive the second ball, but it's well won by Franny Iamano. Looking to bide some time on that left-hand channel. And from back to front, the Royals. Ball towards that left-hand channel. And Mary Rampel gets it clear. Aziha Claridge now. Nice little interplay from the Royals as they look to switch from right to left. An excellent over-the-top ball to that right-hand side. The searching option of Osler. Looking to cut onto her left. Rolling it square initially for Koizumi, who now receives into touch. Looking to flick a ball into the area, but it's South who ultimately get it clear. Now McAuliffe. Almost in a mix-up there on that left-hand side. And South will look to advance. Iamano, good first touch. Keeps it in play, does Franny Iamano. Neat ball to find Westland. But she's in an offside position and South can consolidate themselves from a defensive position and be very confident in the manner in which they're attacking in these opening few stages of play. Of course, the advantage of having McAuliffe such a huge one in these times. A deadly striker in this competition in recent seasons. As we do see McAuliffe now looking to race through on goal. And Mason Jones came out of a 6-yard box to make the all-important save. South really gaining territory now. Taranto. That's well dealt with by Rampel, who I think for the 3rd time this afternoon in only 10 minutes of play has sent it out to the far touchline. Sewards. The triangle completed. Flick ball over the top. Now the Royals imposing a very direct style of play. Of course, this is Vince Battiato's first season in the NPLW competition, and the Royals have had quite a good start to their campaign, all things considered. Very topsy-turvy in its nature. They defeated Heidelberg United several weeks back. Of course, last week was the cup break, so no league football for them, but it's been very impressive nonetheless from them in their first campaign in the top flight. Westland looking into the centre circle, but it's now with the Royals yet again. And Westland will have to play it back to Kiri Hiranopoulos. Royals win it back briefly, and they are pressing the South defence here. Esposito gets it out of danger. Westland. Taranto. Oh, she slips on the turf. There might be an opportunity for the Royals to potentially capitalise. Incisive ball in behind. The intended target was Ava Grober. But South clear their lines. Ristevski. Searching ball into the area. On the perimeter it arrives. Might set up for Omaya. And Westland just hitting it back into the fella, number 14. Omaya! On the volley! How do you like that one? And the Royals have stunned South Melbourne in the opening 10 minutes. Riona Omaya with the stunning and well-taken finish into the bottom left corner. And that marks her 2nd goal of the season. What a time to do so. They've been largely dominated in these early phases of play, especially within possession. But might their stunning start to the season continue? And South will look to counteract the start from the Royals in any way they possibly can. But with sumptuous balls like that towards Omaya, they won't exactly be easy. And Omaya, of course, coming into this competition with so much pedigree, formerly of the Burgers, and did have a stint with Adelaide United in the 2021-22 A-League Women's campaign. Her quality has shone through and shone brightly. And now Smith, the great hustle play, can't find a target. South imposing very staunch press, and Iamano will race forward and drive centrally. She's got Candelas to her right. She'll go herself, Iamano. That's all too easy for Mason Jones. Of course, on Nike FC Cup fixtures last week, as we did mention, a narrow loss for South Melbourne. Losing 2-0 to Heidelberg United. As for the Essendon Royals, it was more of an easy task. 6-0 against Altona City at home. Very west-centric fixture. Omaya. Of course, in that fixture against Altona City, it was an absolute spanking from the Royals. Audrey Osler added to a tally for the season. Of course, she's got 3 in the league, and she added a couple more in the cup. 4 goals to be exact. And now a holding pattern of possession for the Royals as they launch a ball upfield. Picking up the loose ball is Ristevski. South trying to bide their time in their defensive areas. They look down the line. Klajic. That pass misdirected. Now we will see a throw-in ensuing from Essendon Royals. And South, of course, many players upfield this time, and Ristevski has to track back a little bit to throw that down the line, in which he does so now. Papatsanis, ball in field for Stewards, who eventually wins out that battle. Neat ball was attempted down to that right channel. Candelas was there, but as for the Essendon Royals, they can really breathe a sigh of relief. The Essendon Royals, of course, currently sit in 4th place, South Melbourne in 9th, but only 2 points separate these two sides. South with the extra game in hand. Of course, forgoing that fixture against the Preston Lions earlier this season. That fixture will be played at a later date. As it currently stands, Essendon have put themselves in a great position to potentially rise up the table into that top 3 or 2 positions. Smith. Thunderous challenge on that far side from South. O'Meara back to goal. The Royals bomb it long. To no one in particular. Claridge. It's really earned a spot on that left flank for South Melbourne in recent weeks. South youth product, of course. So many of these South Melbourne players are youth products of George Georgiadis' side. Of course, they've got one of the best academies in Victoria, it has to be said. The Royals now will break clear. O'Meara, great ball to that left-hand side. Grober on the edge of the area. She's got options in the middle. The reverse pass was intended for Audrey Osler. So well done by Christina Esposito. A misplaced pass might see the Royals capitalise yet again. Osler. Smith. The overlapping options does present itself. It's flicked into the area, and it's called for foul against South Melbourne, and those calls have been answered. So right across the byline. The Essendon Royals will attempt to swing this one in, or the acutest angle possible as well, it has to be said. It looks like it will be Riona O'Meara who will stand over this one. Tall timber of the likes of Daniela Marshall in the box. But it looks like they might potentially utilise one of their set-piece practices that they've enforced in training, perhaps, maybe. Maya. It's deep. It's free header for Daniela Marshall. No one marking her in that central region. In South Melbourne, under a mountain of pressure in these opening 20 minutes. Holding the ball a little bit too long there was Kira Hiranopoulos. And again, the Royals able to win themselves a free kick. After winning the ball back in possession. Oh, do South Melbourne have a task on their hands this afternoon? Amaya once more. A fantastic delivery. Esposito can claim initially, but she did fumble it. But South can breathe a sigh of relief. Clyde attempts to play it out of the penalty area for South. Rampel down that right-hand side. Nice little 1-2 touch. The cross is fashioned in, but Esposito can claim. And South will look to counter-attack. Westland asking for options. And looks to go down the line. Neat little first touch from Mikhailov. Papatsanis. Klajic. Steps in between two. Now Taranto. Looks left. Claridge. Sewards. Racing forward. Ball towards that left-hand side now. It's Mikhailov across the byline. And South win themselves another corner. You can only imagine what Georgiadis is thinking. Of course, they did actually go down 1-0 last time they had a home game at Lakeside Stadium several weeks ago. That was against Alamein. Towards Westland. Might pop up nicely for South, but it doesn't. And it's over the top, out for a goal kick. South last home game against Alamein. It was a very big scare for them. Fortunately for themselves, they did get themselves up 2-1, but it was a late equaliser from Alamein in which South were able to share the points. With the currently bottom placed Alamein, should I add. The Royals really trying to exploit this left-hand side once more. And they win back possession through Ristevski. Attempting to find an option in the middle. Amaya. Centre circle now for the Royals. Looking left. It was Koizumi. Of course, the Japanese import. Very impressive high school football record, and formerly of Nagano Baserio. And you look at this Essendon Royal squad, full of players who have got A-League women's experience overseas, and a lot of squad retention from even their years in the VPLW and State League 1 as well. So, true testament to their squad management over the last few seasons as they cheaply give away possession. To look down the line yet again, and fair few stoppages in the most recent phases of play. Marshall. Yamano's pressing for South. Smith. Marshall. Just on halfway is Grober. South briefly win it back, but Marshall's able to marshal the troops. Pressed up high is Da Cruz. And having to get it clear was Sophie Papatsanis. Senior member of this squad for about 5 seasons now. It's earned her spot in this side. Taranto with a brief miscue. And it's one back by the Royals to Cruz. Now the teasing effort towards that right-hand side from Ava Grober. And Esposito dealt with it quite well. She'll bomb it upfield. Westland back to goal is brought to ground. South for a long clearance. Advancing forward, Candelas. Neither side really able to gain the upper hand by virtue of possession. It's more so South Melbourne that are getting the ball in dangerous territory. Nice interplay down that right-hand touchline, but Sewards can only see it out for another throw-in. Of course, Isabella Sewards, a very talented player at the heart of the South Melbourne midfield, formerly of Calder United and FV Emerging. Also has a bit of a writing career. Avid young journalist as well. Writing on football specifically. Sewards is brought to ground on the edge of the area. And they've actually called for a handball against Audrey Osler. Perhaps not enough contact to warrant a penalty in that instance, but South now will look to fashion one from about, you'd say, 35 yards out. Fairly obtuse angle for them to capitalise on this occasion. Isabella Sewards to deliver most likely. It's Sewards who's towards the back post. The header eventually arrives, but it is claimed by Bethany Mason-Jones. Lops it high. Calls for another handball, but Amaya will pick up for the Royals. And now South, and one by Osler, who breaks past Taranto. He's bearing down on goal. It's Audrey Osler. The last-ditch challenge arrived from Kira Hironopoulos. And that was tremendous. She bypassed the whole defensive line for South Melbourne, did Audrey Osler. And nearly found a second for the Royals. Ristevski hooks one into the area. Sewards. Mikalev back to goal. Excellent first touch from Sewards. Sumptuous quality, and Candelas looking to be launched down the line. But Mason-Jones gets it clear. Excellent goalkeeping anticipation to not only anticipate the play, but also the direction as to which Candelas was going to receive inboard. Foul call against the Royals, and Sewards is brought to ground. Probably a more advantageous angle for South Melbourne to fashion a delivery into the area this time, as opposed to the ones in which we've seen previously. Sewards towards the back post, it arrives. Might set up kindly for Hironopoulos. Calls for a handball, are waved away. And now Esposito will come all the way out of her box to find Papatsanis. South just knocking on the door, asking the question. Mason Jones forced high. That's an excellent first touch from Koizumi. And Omaya still finds space to retrieve possession. She was brought to ground. South win it back themselves. Westland. They attempt to clear it down the line, but the Royals do very well. Koizumi. Royals throw in. Just in line with the area. Across the byline now for the Essendon Royals, and they do win themselves a corner. Their last corner routine was near perfect. Can they replicate this at a more opportune time for the Royals to grab their second? Claridge gets it clear for the Royals. In between the lines, the Royals looking to break clear yet again. They've got plenty of players marshalling up on that left-hand side. Koizumi looking towards the byline. Cutting away was Smith. Across the box it goes. Money at full for the Royals. It doesn't. The ball bouncing nicely for Westland. It gets it clear up the right-hand side. Mikalev wins back possession for South Melbourne. Excellent work by the Royals from a defensive position. And now South have got momentum and numbers forward. Iamano on that left-hand side. Cutting inside. It's Klajic on her right foot. Eventually puts some oomph through it. But tame effort in its execution. Mason Jones. Well, the backwards header was directed towards Taranto, but pressure was applied. The two number twos exchanging passes now down this right-hand side. And in fact, they did collect each other upon that second instance. South forced to track back. Esposito can find into feet Isabella Stewart's. Another fantastic first touch. And she's hooked to the floor. South were looking to take it quickly initially. Yamano. Last touch came off South Melbourne. .33 minutes gone in this first half of the NPLW Victoria. Plenty of action across the grounds in which we will address in a few minutes. But it's the Essendon Royals who have much of the ascendancy by virtue of the scoreline, but also the distinct attacking opportunities. Sewards. That is fantastic. Looking for a ball in behind. The way in which he just glides past several players is a rare feat that many players can execute in this competition. The technical acumen is really second to none and is a valuable addition to the South Melbourne 11. Westland forced fairly deep at this this afternoon. As the Royals gain back possession. Grober. But he stepped up too high. Did the option in Daniela Marshall. And a great ball in behind was directed towards Georgia Candelas. And Mason Jones, again, goalkeeping anticipation to a T. Osler receives back to goal. Targeted by 4 South Melbourne defenders. The Royals do retrieve now through Smith. Down this left-hand touchline is Grober. Running onto her right, looking to find the space in the middle. Marshall upfield on the attempted first-time volley. Osler. We're going to neatly find Ayano Koizumi. Now Rampel down this right-hand side. Does win the throw-in. Sporting the long sleeves this afternoon. I'd say they're very much needed in this weather. Cold breeze is brushing over South Melbourne. We are certainly in the midst of the warmer months becoming a distant memory. Mary Rampel, of course, was integral in those back-to-back promotions. As was previously mentioned, she's shown her quality this afternoon. And has, more often than not, demonstrated her weight in gold. Should I say worth, perhaps. There's a Meyer looking to receive in board, but it's a South Melbourne now. A throw down the line, non-executed, and Rampel can clean up the mess. Taranto forces upfield. Mikhailov the intended target, and again it's towards that left-hand side for South Melbourne. Papatsanis. Westland looks upfield. There's left-hand touchline. South looking to win back possession. Mikhailov was there. So too Stewards. Looks to get a body positioning away from a marker, but with Daniela Marshall stepping up high, no worries for the Royals in this instance. Tracking deeper is Osler. Got a ton of space on that right-hand side to the Royals, and they win back possession by virtue of a free kick. And from 35 yards out, you would say they wouldn't absolutely have a shot from here, but see more audacious things in this competition, and Ayano Koizumi will look to fashion one in from a very deep position, all things considered. What will the directive be from Koizumi? She'll go direct. No troubling Christina Esposito. And the game has really been very much stop and start in the last 15 minutes or so, purely due to the amount of stoppages we have. The impetus is really on South Melbourne to break that standard of play in which we've witnessed and reinforce their wide-ranging attacking style of play in which we've seen them execute so well in seasons gone by. Of course, champions last campaign. Taranto hooking one upfield. Might fall nicely for Klajic, who looks for the attempted half volley. No troubling Mason Jones, however. Very much a miscue. And the Royals will take their time. Backwards header now. Esposito coming out of her box to play the pass down to that right-hand side for the Royals to exploit. But Claridge wasn't really dealt the best pass to get it clear, and she almost gets it clear into the stands on this far side. Now South numbers on that right-hand side, but Westland plays the safe option towards Christina Esposito. Taranto. The trademark clearance executed quite well there. Has caused a fair bit of trouble for the Royals. But it's Claridge who will look to win this battle. 5 minutes remaining in this first half. South look down the line. Last touch coming off a South player. And the Royals will look for a reply of their own. Backwards header. Ball just sitting very high. And Yamano looks to break the space. And South will win it in their attacking half. Looking for Mikhailov. And their throwing will result in a goal kick for Mason Jones. One back by South. And the Royals again get it clear. And just on halfway is Claridge. It's towards that left-hand touchline, and South will drive into midfield. And the Royals had a very clear option in the form of Grober, who finds it yet again. It'll be a foot race between her and Esposito. But the goalkeeper wins out that time. And Amaya with a deft touch towards that right-hand side will see it out for a throw-in. Into midfield, the Royals progress now. The misplaced pass from Smith. And Smith does win back possession. Good turn. And neatly finds Grober bearing down on goal. This could be two. And Esposito's there to make the save. South looking to buy some space on that edge of the area, but it's Grober stepping in yet again. South get it clear. Just on halfway. Ristevski. Marshall. Looking to hook it towards that left-hand side, but Iamano is able to cut out the pass. And now Stewards. Can she break clear of her marker in the form of Michaela Jurcic? And she can't do so that time. Klajic. Back to goal. Klajic. Good first touch it was from Stewards. And the Royals have a bit of momentum, and a tug of the shirt has resulted in a free kick towards Jacinda de la Cruz. maybe just a perspective of frustration from South Melbourne in these latter stages in the first half. Good turn away. Osler looking to receive inboard again. Seward's tracking back. Claridge can only send it up high. It's back with Seward's, and misdirected first touch will see the Royals regain possession. And you would expect only 1 minute of added time in this first half based upon the balance of play. Osler on that right-hand touch line. Osler manages to still keep it in. It looks a hook one into the area, but it's well dealt with by Esposito. Has to launch it upfield for South. Down this left-hand touchline, Grober, an incisive ball and a fantastic first touch. Omaya again hooking it across goal. It might find the option. It does so! A sumptuous finish into the top left corner, and the Royals have doubled their lead to Ayano Koizumi. My word, pick that one out. And Ava Grober, the architect. And it was finished by their Japanese import, her first of the campaign. What a way to arrive at the Essendon Royals. Ayano Koizumi. Top left corner. How do you like them apples? And South Melbourne have been rocked to their core. 1 minute of added time to go as well. I'm sure they would like a goal on the stroke of half-time. But the Royals will attempt to hold firm. Towards the byline for South Melbourne, but the Royals do win it back briefly. Candelas in the area. Looks for the twirl onto her left foot, but it's out for a throw-in. This might be South Melbourne's last stand of this first half. Papatsanis into the box, it arrives. Rostevsky, excellent defensive awareness. Now will be the final act of the opening 45. And, well, South Melbourne have been absolutely rocked. An early goal from Riona Amaya and Ayano Koizumi returning the favour on the stroke of half-time is what leaves South Melbourne in this position, with the second half to commence in 15 minutes. Live and free on the NPL Victoria YouTube channel. Welcome back to round 5 of the NPLW Victoria. We've got a very tantalising second half on the agenda. South Melbourne currently down 2-0 to the Essendon Royals, who have completely bamboozled the home side with some stunning efforts in the first half from Ayano Koizumi and Ryono Omaya. South with plenty of artillery on the bench to have a look at. The likes of Grace Rapp, standout, and also Jessica Sheenan. But for the time being, can they institute a second half fight back? We will see a change from South Melbourne. 2 changes, in fact, coming on Grace Rapp, coming off Aziha Claridge, and also another change, Jessica Sheenan, also coming on. 2 players in which we did mention have actually made way, ironically enough. So those are the changes. And Georgia Candelas has also made way. As a brief breakaway for South Melbourne was cut out by a free kick. Kendra Smith has looked very good in the midfield for the Essendon Royals, of course. Spent time in Auckland with the West Coast Rangers. Now finds herself in Essendon. Flick on from Koizumi, and it will be claimed by Esposito. Now racing through is Koizumi, approaching the right edge of the area. It's well dealt with by Jess Sheenan. Started a couple games with South Melbourne this campaign, in and around the first team. But she's been called upon this afternoon, and justifiably so, in terms of the way in which they've performed thus far. South Melbourne, they've got a lot of work to do in terms of their defensive capabilities and not being left liable on the counter-attack. Cross towards the back post, but in fact, stepping out of play initially was Audrey Osler. Christina Esposito. Essendon get it clear. Deft touch away from the Royals. High looping ball upfield. Good first touch from Amaya. Taranto. Oh, pass misplaced. It's picked up by Westland. It's able to break the space. And look towards that right-hand side. Sewers is bearing down on goal. She gets a strike away. It's just over the top, but Mason Jones didn't get all of it. And so fortunately for the home side, they do embody some hope with strikes like that, bound to cause opposition defences a bit of trouble. Into midfield now, South Melbourne. Klajic looking to break away. And our space opening up for Smith. Looks towards that left channel. And Taranto with excellent body positioning to break away from Hamaka. Ristevski towards that left-hand touchline. Playing it short to Omaya. On the right edge of the areas towards Sheenan. A bit of a miscue. But she eventually gets it clear, and Taranto follows suit. Mikhailov is upfield. Striding forward is Taranto. She's bodied to the floor. Excellent work from Grace Rapp. And now the play most definitely opening up on this left channel. Now for Osler. Driving into the area. Still going Osler. Shot blocked. Grober towards Osler on the left edge of the penalty area, but she was in an offside position. And the Royals have rarely put a foot wrong, and they will have to ensure that they regain that confidence from defensive positions to not ensure that the likes of Yamano or Wise, Niwai should I say, and in Mikhailov cause any troubles. Omaya, incisive ball towards Osler, who's in an offside position yet again. She strikes wide, however. And you can't afford Audrey Osler any space, because she will, more times than not, cause trouble. Stranger things have happened at Lakeside Stadium. Can either side put themselves in winning positions in this second half? Ball shapes up nicely for Westland. Looks to receive into touch yet again. Jurcic. Now Taranto. A trademark run forward, and she's executed brilliantly. Lofting it towards the left-hand side, but there was Mary Rampel. Biting past one defender in the form of Jess Sheenan, who shapes away from her body. And Rampel will take the throw-in at the midway point of her attacking half. She's got options down the line. Osler with the header back inside into a more central position. Hooked across the edge of the area now. Omaya. She would love a second, wouldn't she? Now Da Cruz. It's towards Grober. Across the byline it goes. It's towards Taranto. And Omaya will pick up on the edge of the area. A neat turn away from a marker. It's Omaya yet again. And now it's Klajic. Has a batter clear. And clear their lines, do South Melbourne. But danger not yet averted. But South are pressing, but the Essendon Royals deal with it fantastically. But the ball misdirected out of play, and it will be a throw-in for South Melbourne to take. Jess Sheenan. Into feet. Now Koizumi. Space opening up for the Royals. Omaya can't find the teasing ball into the area. But lofted it into the area was Smith. And Essendon Royals mounting the pressure upon South Melbourne. No changes, no worries for Vince Battiato's men. Women, should I say. They are in such an amazing position. Da Cruz. Mikhailov. Took a touch, a deflection on the way through. But South Melbourne trying to seek their way through this slanted back four. Flat back four in possession for the Essendon Royals. Staying true to the course. Regimented style of defensive football in which they are looking to play in the second half. It's Jess Sheenan across the face of defence. Taranto looking infield. Back into the centre circle. Pressing up high was Audrey Osler. And we do see Bethany Mason-Jones has put the cap on. Love to see that from a goalkeeper. Or perhaps a breakaway here for the Essendon Royals again. Osler receiving on the edge of the area on that right-hand channel. Cutting onto her right. Flicks one into the box, but it's well dealt with by South Melbourne. Returning favour Rampel. Now Sheenan. And Rampel yet again. Bombing down that right flank. Nice cross towards the byline. It's Koizumi across the byline, gets the cross in, but last touch coming off Klajic. And it will be a corner, and it looks like South Melbourne might be ready to make another change in a few moments. A couple of warm-ups here and there for several players that are on the bench. And Ava Grober will fashion one in on her right foot. The header arrives eventually, and Esposito with the acrobatic save to her right. And she claims yet again. A tremendous job from Christina Esposito, who might have just kept her side in it for a brief period. Could that spur South Melbourne on to find some counter-attacking opportunities? Iamano tracking deep, almost deployed as a left wing-back. Looks centrally. Westland, Sheenan. Past halfway they go. Iamano with the first touch. This is good football from South Melbourne. And might they find Mikolev through on goal? And Mason Jones, I think, might have got a final touch to it. She seems to be in a little bit of pain here. Holding her arms, it seems. I think that might be an injury concern for the away side. We did mention that we would provide you some score updates, and we will do so. Of course, plenty of games around the grounds in this competition. And we'll cast your eyes and ears towards Brunswick Juventus up against the Preston Lions. 4-2 result for Preston away from home. The FV emerging, falling 3-2 at home, at the home of the Matildas, with Alamein with a huge result there. There was on football last night as well at Box Hill. Very intriguing match it was on the balance, with the Bullying Lions more importantly securing a important result. And well, for the Essendon Royals, they would not want to be forced into a change. This could spell disaster. But it's not a good start to the second half for the Essendon Royals in terms of player availability. They would hate for their goalkeeper to go off injured. Still receiving treatment. Of course, we'll recap this game for you thus far. South Melbourne, of course, going behind in the 12th minute with an absolute stunning volley from Riona Amaya. And then on stroke of half-time, it was Ayano Kuzumi with a stunning goal. Seems as if she's going to be all okay. And we'll have a throw-in to be taken now just about 10 yards out from the right-hand byline. So good news for the Essendon Royals, and she receives an applause from the away bench and those who have travelled. So how will the Royals contend with that break and play? We will examine the effects of that, and a few moments perhaps. Wrap. Smith. Last touch came off a South Melbourne player. Of course, Grace Rapp, one of the substitutes, a well-established and esteemed member of the South Melbourne side, of course. Several caps for the England under-19s. Played with the likes of Yeovil Town and also Stade de Reims in France. So well-travelled, but well-established as well. Looking down the line, South Melbourne. Might set up nicely for the Royals to contend with from a defensive position, and Grace Rapp bundles over her fellow number 20 and Kendra Smith. One in midfield by Audrey Osler. And now South will look to bring it away themselves. Westland. Leap ball over the top. It's Iamano with a first-time effort on goal. She had a bit of space to exploit, but decided to go for the first-time effort en route. No trouble for the goalkeeper, however. It's towards Sheenan. Heavy first touch. We'll see it out of play. Rampel. Osler was bodied briefly. Omaya beats past one. Now past two. It's Omaya. Esposito. High upfield. Mikalev can't get the first touch that she initially wanted, and the flick on does find Osler towards Smith. They might break free here, and tame effort on goal does ensue. Sewards. That is exquisite from Isabella Sewards. Down that right touchline she goes. The Royals attempting to square it, but it's another good touch from Sewards. But the Royals staunch and steadfast in their approach from a defensive position. So look to get it clear now. Klajic, back to goal, forced to track back. Westland, receiving it to touch. South Melbourne. And brought to ground was Mikalev. Now Klajic with a turn onto her left foot. It's towards Iamano, left edge of the penalty area. And they do win the corner off the foot of Mary Rampel. Might focalise on Francesca Iamano for a brief period, of course. Formerly of FV emerging. Over 10 A-League appearances for the likes of the Melbourne Victory and Western United. Hasn't gone on the score sheet in recent weeks, but look to add to her account for this season imminently. There's 2 balls on the pitch now, and Misha Westland will just have to get that clear. Former Adelaide United and Melbourne City midfielder. She'll shape one on her right foot here. Rolled short. Westland cuts it in again, calls for offside. And the player in question, Bella Sewards, was in fact in an offside position. And the Royals just looking to soak up as much time as they possibly can. They want assurances that South Melbourne will not have any ounce of momentum to carry in these last 25 minutes of regulation. Rampel. Iamano. A good first touch. Iamano once more. Looking to drive. Such incredible technical acumen does Francesca Iamano have. She cannot be afforded wide spaces whatsoever. Otherwise, she will exploit as much space as he is afforded. Mikhailov, in fact, did step out of play and will be a goal kick for the Royals. Essendon Royals, of course, back-to-back promotions in recent seasons, have now secured position in the top flight. If you could really imagine out northwest that they would be at Lakeside Stadium playing a league match, but with added resources and time invested in this football department, they are now here to stay. Rampel, space on that right channel. Cross into the mixer it goes, but it's all too easy for South Melbourne. And Mikhailov. And Sheenan intercepts. Will drive forward towards Iamano. Force a beat past Smith and manages to keep it in down that left-hand touchline. Looking to cut onto her right. Koizumi was there. But Sheenan will now pick up play. Force a turn back away from a marker and looks to flick across in. But Marshall's head was there. It's towards Klajic, who will fashion one from range. It hits the deck and into the arms of Mason Jones. The clearance finds Westland. Klajic, into feet is Mikhailov. Good touch from Iamano. Onto her right. Looking to slide a pass down the line. Play beginning to open up just a little bit. As bundled down was Riona Amaya. And we'll see a double change from the Essendon Royals. Jess Smith will make her introduction. And Olivia Ristevski. Great stint from her on that left-hand side. She'll make way. Emily Sutcliffe also coming on in place of Jacinta da Cruz. Sutcliffe, of course, joined from the Bandura Eagles with 5 goals in 19 games last season. Jurcic upfield. Koizumi onto her left. Iranopoulos. Deft touch. Now Rampel. Looking to bypass Sheenan. And she's found her way into the area. Across the face of goal it goes. Might it yet fall nicely for Osler? No, it doesn't. Rampel turns onto her right. The flick back towards Osler. That shot blocked as well. Now it's Smith trying her luck. So many shots deflected. Pandemonium ensuing. And South get it clear eventually. Marshall. Neat little ball in behind. Osler will see it out for a throw-in. You really do get the feeling as if there are some more goals in this tie. Klajic. Westland. Iamano. Oh, fantastic body challenge from Koizumi, who finds Smith. Advancing forward. Plenty of deflections ensue. And the Royals will have another throw-in. Just past their attacking half now. Marshall will see it out for a throw-in. Now or never really for South Melbourne if they want anything from this fixture whatsoever. Papatsanis. Klajic turns past her marker. Good combination play to find Rapp. Back to goal, Klajic. The Royals enforcing a press. But this is sumptuous football from South Melbourne. Now cut up by the Royals. It's Smith. Her pass misplaced towards Papatsanis. Now Sheenan. Deflected ball finds Westland. Now Rapp. He's got options on that right-hand side. Sewards. Taranto bombing forward. Seems as if she's moved on from her central defender spot and has been deployed as sort of an attacking midfielder slash winger. Definitely not the worst option to put in that position. That is to be certain. Taranto. Down that right-hand side. Across the face of goal. Does find Francesca Iamano. Into touch with the byline. Now Sheenan. Runners arriving for South Melbourne. But that's cut out by Rampel. He's going to race down that right touch line. She's dispossessed. Now Sheenan with the attempted pass forward. But Kendra Smith arrived to it first. The sun setting on the city end here at Lakeside Stadium. But the same continues for the Royals. A sumptuous ball to that left-hand side. Across the face of goal is Osler. And Esposito is there to claim. Another cruel, cruel giveaway for the Essendon Royals. And Esposito forced to clear. Westland keeps it in play. Turning on to her right. Westland still going. Approaching the right edge of the area. And the Royals, incredible defensive acumen. And South playing with a little bit more of urgency. Rapp. Sheenan. Composed. And South now have to track back. Papatsanis is definitely more so now playing in a central region. Seems like a back three in possession for South Melbourne. Rapp. Overlapping is Taranto. And there was Grace Rapp initially. Westland. In behind is Taranto. Across the face of goal. And she does get the glancing header away. And it will be a goal kick for the Essendon Royals and Bethany Mason-Jones. Who has been nothing short of incredible. Will be tasked with seeing her side home. in these remaining 15 minutes of regulation. Probably 20 minutes all up if you include stoppages. Jess Sheenan wins possession for South Melbourne on that left-hand touchline. Yamano can't get the pass clear. Misplaced pass to Westland. Klajec sending through Mikhailov, who's bearing down on goal, looking to chip the keeper. A golden chance for South Melbourne goes astray. That might have been the one to kickstart their comeback. But it were not to be for Daniel Mikhailov. With 15 goals last season, she's bound to get her first eventually. The short goal kick is right out of play. Now South Melbourne with another chance. They've certainly had the ascendancy in the last 5 to 10 minutes by virtue of attacking opportunities. Uranopoulos finding him behind. Is Taranto there? She was, and is calls for a last touch of a Royals player. But it's been given as a goal kick. George Georgiadis cannot believe it. He's incensed. Just South Melbourne not really making most of the chances in which they're being afforded. We'll see another change for the Essendon Royals. Coming on, Filomena Delic. Coming off Ava Grober. Delic was the top goal scorer last season in the VPO. 11 goals in 17 games. Formerly applied a trade with Melbourne Knights as a women's side. And well, that change pivotal for the Essendon Royals in terms of how they close out this fixture. Pass across the face of defence didn't work out as kindly as they would have liked. It's Mikhailov turning onto her right, looking to find some space in a very cramped penalty area. And Grace Rapp making the sliding challenge. She looks to win it back initially. Does manage to get across get across to it, but now Sheenan towards Westland. Loft the ball over the top. A complete miscue from the Royals defence in Marshall. And now Mason Jones will take her time. It seems as if the clock has been broken here at Lakeside Stadium. Currently stuck on 74 minutes and 43 seconds. Osler, good turn away. 25 yards out from goal, looking to slide one through. She can't do on that occasion. Now Westland. That pass misdirected and out of play for a throw-in. South look upfield. Long ball down the line, down that right-hand side. I believe we're about 79 minutes into this contest. Mason Jones with a goal kick. Mason Jones. Well, that's a poor miscue. Mikalev. Now Iamano. Looking on to her right. Westland. Sewards. Papatsanis. Neat little touch in towards Sewards. Now Taranto in the area. Can't fashion a shot initially. It's absolute pandemonium. Iamano into the area. Looking for Westland. Calls for a handball. Waved away. Now Sheenan on her right foot. Shot deflected. Mikalev. Westland will pick up the pieces on this left-hand side. Across the byline it goes. A strong cross into the middle. Now Klajic will try her luck. It's towards Taranto. Couldn't get the touch she required. And South still retain possession. See Osler just holding position on the halfway line for the Essendon Royals. Koizumi back to goal. Now Sewards down that right-hand touchline and a near giveaway from the away side could have put South Melbourne more or less back into the tie. Osler. Papatsanis. They fall back to their keeper in Esposito. Finds the centre circle now. Grace Rapp. Good first touch. It's towards Taranto. Attempted to flick on, but South have got only a few players back. And Hiranopoulos manages to keep it in play. Clearance very high up in the air, but Papatsanis now. Osler. Could this be the moment for the Essendon Royals? They've got space opening up on that right-hand side. The strike away, and it's Esposito who acrobatically could get to her right-hand side and make the all-important save. Once more, she's been outstanding. Incredible goalkeeping acumen. That is fantastic. Delic was denied. Smith sends it out of play. Mikalev. Taranto. Down that right-hand touchline. Approaching the area. And now the byline. And driving into the area. Across the face of goal! And it's somehow, some way claimed by Bethany Mason-Jones. The ball arriving across the face. Iamano was there to meet it. But Mason-Jones standing tall. Incredible. Grace Rapp brought to ground. South Melbourne are ushering all players forward. Bar Sophie Papatsanis. And it seems Kiri Hiranopoulos. That delivery was fairly poor in execution. Delic. Won by Iamano. Runners arriving for South Melbourne. And a deflection off a Royals player will see it out for a throw-in. Scoreboard now working again, which is good to see. In the last 10 minutes of play. Sheenan. Mikalev. Looking to flick it into the area. Falls nicely for Rapp, who in desperation fires one from long range, and we'll see it out of play for a goal kick. Another change, the final two from the Essendon Royals, this being their final substitution window. Oncoming will be Carla Prosciutti off Jessica Smith. No, sorry, not in fact Jessica Smith. Daniela Marshall. Thought there was a 16 that went up. And the goal scorer, Aina Kazumi coming off oncoming Ruby Deeg. Of course, the former Brunswick Juventus player who also won promotion last year in VPL. Has also spent some time at the FV NTC or FV Emerging program. Depends what side of persuasion you are. Hiranopoulos stepping up high, finding Grace Rapp. The 1-2 ball doesn't find the central defender Hiranopoulos. And Mason Jones will get it clear. Nice touch for Dalic. Onto her left. Does find Sutcliffe. Osler back to goal. Rampel fashions a delivery into the back post. No one really marked in that region. And defensive frailty for South Melbourne. Esposito. Westland. Iamano is there. And she receives it into touch now. Francesca Iamano. Back to goal. He's brought to ground from Rampel, and that will be a free kick. Grace Rapp. Searching for the right-sided region. Papatsanas, so that's a poor giveaway. And that might see Osler through on goal. Pass was overhit. Now Hiranopoulos. Sheenan. Driving in central. Mikalev back to goal. Turning onto her left. That was a sweet little motion from the South Melbourne striker. Hiranopoulos. Tempting a ball upfield. And Mason Jones will see it out for a goal kick. South not going to their bench for a second time this afternoon. Seem to be pretty content with what they're currently seeing on the pitch, but they haven't had a real strike on goal that's exactly challenged Bethany Mason Jones. Well, that's won by South Melbourne's attacking quadrant. The Royals attempted to get it clear now. It's towards Westland. To that right-hand side now is Stewards. Beautiful turn from Taranto. Looking to fire one clear. Stewards. And the Royals. They've got players forward. Can they be utilised for a third goal, perhaps? Not on this occasion. Sheenan towards Iamano. Looking to find space on that left channel. Excellent defensive acumen from Michaela Jurcic. And the Royals will take their time. They're in no rush whatsoever. They've got a 2-goal buffer. But a goal could change the complexion of this tie in its entirety. Should South Melbourne manage to get themselves on the score sheet. Westland. Hiranopoulos. Oh, misplaced pass. And Iamano with a curling effort, but it's claimed by Mason Jones. All hope might dissipate for South Melbourne in their pursuit of gaining a point. It would take some miraculous attacking displays from the likes of Iamano. Defender now turn attacker Grace Taranto. And Daniel Mikalev to edge them closer. Iamano crossing past halfway. Taranto. Down that left channel. Still she goes, Taranto. Turning onto her left. bypassing Jurcic. Left edge of the area is Klajic. Hiranopoulos. Hooking it towards that right-hand side. Sewards. Past the byline. Towards Westland. She can't receive into touch, but it will be a South Melbourne throw-in. Taranto, and offside call against Sewards. And the Royals can breathe a sigh of relief. A few tired players on the park as well. So to the number 20, Kendra Smith has performed so well at the heart of midfield. And we'll see 5 minutes of that at a time. Ball hooked upfield. And Esposito can claim. South, it's a matter of urgency. They have to try and derive something from this contest. Taranto attempting to slide through. And the Royals play it upfield once more. It's Rapp. And space opening up for Westland. They look centrally towards Taranto. 20 yards out from the area. Towards that right-hand side, across the face of goal. It's claimed by Mason Jones. And a player's gone down for the Essendon Royals as well. If there's any opportune time to soak up pressure, now would be the right manner in which to do so. Of course, an intriguing fixture list for either side in the coming weeks, and we'll take you through those at this current moment in time. Fairly tame second half and attacking circumstances for either side, but ooh, a challenge from Mikhailo Fontu. Mason Jones, she doesn't seem too phased though. So next week, match day 6, should I say, of the NPLW. The Royals will return back to their home turf at Cross Keys Reserve and will face off against Box Hill United, South Melbourne, and Heidelberg will do battle in a Hellenic derby. And this will position Essendon Royals as one of the premier sides in the competition. They do have their full complement out there, unlike South Melbourne, who've, of course, got a number of players that they are still awaiting to return from the A-League Women. Sheenan. Iamano. Attempting to break away. Omaya. It's got space to exploit. And looks centrally. Might it be for the Essendon Royals to make it 3? Esposito is there. She's put on a clinic in the second half. And has arguably prevented it from being 3 or 4. Some of the transitional football which we've seen from the Essendon Royals has been nothing short of sublime. South get it clear. Dalic. Oh, that's a massive miscue from South Melbourne. But the offside flag is raised. Nearly thought that the right wing back was all but through on goal. South seem to be content with their impending fate. Call for a foul against Misha Westland. Ball hooked into the area. It might ball for Grace Taranto. Can she flick it over the top? She can! And South Melbourne get themselves a late consolation, but it can potentially be more than that. Grace Taranto, what an excellent finish. But it might be too little too late for the home side. Osler bearing down on goal. She's brought to ground. No foul called. Now or never for South. It's wrap. Westland. A fantastic turn from Smith. She gets out of play nearly. Klajec keeps it in. Essendon pleading for calmness. Westland with the deft touch. And it'll be a throw-in for Essendon. They will take as much time as they require. Yeah, South throw-in just on halfway. Full-time whistle blows here at Lakeside Stadium. 2 goals in the first half from Yona Amaya. Has all but secured their fate. South Melbourne with the late consolation goal from Grace Taranto. It wasn't enough. But Amaya's initial strike in the 12th minute was something of amazing quality. But Ayano Koizumi's perler into the top left corner is what has ensured the Royals gaining themselves a much needed and required 3 points this evening. Delight for the away side, despair for those in South Blue. I've been Neil Simons for Football Victoria. It's been a pleasure to have your company this evening. And we'll be back with you for some more NPLW coverage very, very soon. Thank you and good night.